We're the Talking Hats, and we are back here. We're going to get into some NHL talk. But to start things off, I wanted to mention something briefly. There was a trade that happened that pretty much flew under the radar. And it's not something that anybody would really care about, but I care about it because I see a lot of potential in this player. Brian Edwards was traded from the Las Vegas Raiders to the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons have a need at receiver. Brian Edwards is an excellent receiver. He reminds me a lot of my brother, and I was watching him the past 2 seasons. He doesn't get a lot of targets, but when he gets targets, he makes plays. He's not huge. He runs good routes, which doesn't always seem to matter. His targets usually come in broken plays or something, but whenever the ball is thrown his way, the dude makes plays. I think he can be a breakout star in the league. I think being in Atlanta is going to give him the opportunity to do so. The Raiders gave him up for a couple of late round picks, and I think they're going to end up missing him. I think they've got Devontae Adams now, but he would have been a nice compliment. But he's gonna be that guy in Atlanta now, and I think he's going to have the opportunity to explode there. They drafted London too, so him and London should be nice pieces there in Atlanta. So just wanted to mention that. We can switch gears here into the NHL talk. It hurts. It freaking hurts. We were watching the game last night. Let you go ahead and give your thoughts on it real quick. I know you didn't want to linger on it, but it's painful.
It's hard because I had a feeling they could win that game and force the game 7 and win in Florida. But I always say this: if the pucks don't bounce your way, you ain't going to win the game, because all the breaks were going Florida's way. Even though when we scored once, they came back and taking nothing away. They played a heck of a game. The Panthers did. And speed does kill, but I think in this instance, I think we as a team didn't perform to the capabilities that we could have done. Like, I don't see why we stopped hitting in the second and third period. I mean, we were doing that in the first. I mean, there was not really, there was a sense of urgency, but only in spurts. And it kind of reminded me of the old Caps team where they knew that they needed to do something, but they couldn't do it. I don't know if it's the players are getting to the age system now because they've been there for such a long time and their legs don't work like they used to. And we just need some younger guys with that veteran leadership. And it just hurts. I mean, to lose in overtime like that, on a goal like that, and on a defensive lapse like that, it's just, I can't speak on it anymore. I'm just too crushed. It crushed.
It freaking sucks. I was watching that game last night, and like you said, in the first period, they had 26 hits in the first period. Second and third periods, they were in the single digits. So they got tired. And I think not having Tom Wilson, not even from a talent standpoint, he's an excellent player, but not even just depth. They missed his body on the ice. And I think they were sluggish in the second and third periods, and they were skating slower. I mean, when you come out so hyped up, they were on fire in the first period, and then they just, they fell off, exhausted. And what cost them the game. And in the third period, they were just so sloppy with the puck. On the last goal, the goal that Florida scored to take the lead before the 6-on-4 when the Caps evened it up. That goal happened on a turnover. It wasn't in the offensive zone, but it was still a turnover that led to a breakaway and then an easy goal. So that stuff was happening. And the previous loss too, they were actually sloppy with the puck in the offensive end, which, I mean, you're going to lose when that happens. And they just, the 6-on-4, you get hyped. You think, all right, this is it. We got this. Ovi jumped up and down. He was so happy. And then to see them lose in overtime the way they did, heartbreaker. Just a heartbreaker for it to end that way. I'd rather them get blown out than to tease us and, go out that way. I really had high hopes for this team. If they goes to game 7, of course they win it. They're the team with the experience. Florida is actually, they're the 1 seed. They're the President's Trophy winners. They're actually not that good. I think the Capitals exposed them. I expect them to lose in the next round. I don't think they're the team that can carry it all the way. I think the hated Penguins can be that team. They had an injury to their goalie in the first game of that series, but they're going to take game 7 against the Rangers in New York. And then I think they can be the team that can actually carry the Eastern Conference, because I don't see any other strength there. But over on the other side, there's a clear strength. The Avalanche swept the Predators. The Predators are not an easy pushover team. That's a solid team, a solidly coached team, talent, but they got swept pretty easily. The Avalanche handled business, and they came up with the best record in the West. Sometimes, the teams don't fare so well. They had a long break leading up into the playoffs. They went out there and took care of business. I think they'll continue to do so. I don't see a threat to them in the West. I think they'll go out there. I mean, the Kings they're okay, but they're struggling with the Oilers right now. I think that series is also in Game 7. The Oilers aren't. I don't think they're a team that can challenge the Avs. I don't see anybody who can in the West. That's my cup pick. That has been my cup pick. I bet on them too. I wanted to see Avs Caps in the finals. I thought we would, but
I would say this: if the Rangers, I don't think Crosby's playing the next game. I think
that hasn't been announced yet. But
he hasn't been announced yet. Okay,
but he didn't play in the last game, and they lost.
No,
they were right there. An empty net made it look worse than it was, but the game was back and forth.
It was, and that's what I think. Zidanejad is my boy. I hate him when he plays against us, but he just he's one of those guys that you would love to have on your team, but hate to go up against. And I think he had a hat trick. I'm not sure. I think he had 3 goals. I'm not sure.
I thought I saw 2. He might have gotten a 3rd though.
But don't call me. But I think it's going to be a great game. Game 7 going into the Rangers. I think New York can pull it off.
Like you said, if Crosby doesn't play, they're not going to win.
I mean, Malkin can do it himself. It's just he just needs Crosby to give him the puck. But it's just that I told this to my wife, like the Panthers are acting like they're like the world beaters, and they're trying to yeah. I mean, they're like the way they celebrated. I was kind of like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I understand that the emotions come out, but sometimes it's just like, yeah, maybe I'm just bitter, and I'm just like,
salty.
Man, like, yeah.
The better team lost.
But the thing is, they got the bounces to go their way. Like if some of the goals that were scored on Samsonov, it wasn't his fault because the defense let him down, and he played a heck of a game. I mean, after they took out Vitek, he played a heck of a game. I mean, I thought that if he would have advanced, it would be because of his play. And that was my biggest fear is our goalie and our defense. And I said that from the beginning. And unfortunately, it came to bite him in the butt. They had defensive lapses. And for a veteran team, for me, that's kind of surprising. It was really surprising to see them struggle or to do those things because it didn't happen with Barry, and it's happening with Laviolette. So and Laviolette and Barry are the same kind of defensive minded coaches. So what's going on? Are the players not buying into Laviolette's system yet because they don't foresee it, or is just
I think he's the guy. I think he's the right guy for the job. I don't think their roster is that bad. They just need a little more depth. And they have a guy in the AHL right now, Connor McMichael or something like that.
Oh, he played yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't get that much. He played the last 2 games. Yeah, Connor McMichael is good. It's just
he's good. He's just young. Next season he'll be. He didn't play a lot this season up in the big leagues.
Right. Yeah.
But next season he'll be ready to go. And they need that depth. They've got. Even with the age, they've got solid players. They just don't have the depth. And next season they will.
Yeah.
So,
and they have a Russian prospect.
They need a goaltender. Good grief, they need a goalie.
So that's the thing that's really bothering me is after Holtby left, which was it was bound to happen because of salary. I mean, you can't pay every single body on your team. But if you can get him back for cheap next year, you have to pull that trade. You have to.
See, he's in the playoffs and he's not playing. So maybe he's not. Maybe I think they need to find that young dude that nobody's ever heard of, to just come in and the Pittsburgh goalie. Nobody ever heard of this dude. He's the backup. He's playing well. He had a rough go of it last night. There was a goal that squeaked in, bounced over him. He didn't know where the puck was and went in. That was the game winner. But but he's solid. They need to find somebody like that, just a no name to just come in and get hot. That's
The crazy thing is the Caps have a very good goalie system. I mean, they have a good goalie,
they usually do. They usually do.
Yeah, and all those goalies have gone to do great afterward, elsewhere. So it's almost like if they can get somebody, as you said, like a crazy guy, a crazy prospect that no one has heard of, and he's he took one of those hidden talents or something. It could, but take nothing away. Florida showed what they can do, but I don't think they can do that for round after round after round after round.
You remember around the trade deadline, there was rumors of them being interested in Marc-Andre Fleury. I wish they would have made that move. They're still in it if they make that move. It's not that Samsonov played that bad. It's not that. It's just you just need that one piece. And with a guy like that, with championship experience, when know on the defensive end, when you know you've got that backstop behind you, it changes everything. And I'm sure the guys believe in Vanacek and Samsonov. It's just that makes a difference. So,
I mean, if you had a Marc-Andre Fleury, if you do make a mistake, he can stop it, or he can tell you, because it's also communication. Maybe the communication was somewhere here or there. So, I'll give you this. Peter Laviolette next year, I think he's going to have a better team, and maybe they might change things up because I'll say this is his first year coaching the actual team, and the next year will build on. And I think they have a prospect in Russia that's playing the KHL. I'm not sure. I know they drafted, and they're saying that he like the second Alex Ovechkin. So that's what the rumors were when he first came out. So we'll see how that kind of fruitions, and if he does come here. If he doesn't, I would like Anthony Mantha to step up. I think I was a big proponent of him when he came from Detroit. I was like, hey, this guy is amazing. He's a big body. Put him in front of the goalie, make him tips, make him do anything, do whatever he can. He stepped up.
He did play pretty well in the series, and I'll give him credit because in the absence of Tom Wilson, he stepped up and was the tough guy. So, just healthy. That's a different series.
And I think maybe they were hurt. Like you could see something was off on them. Like they were slow. They were kind of like something didn't seem right. And that's not the Caps. Like that like when it's time crunch, they will go out full force. But something was missing. Maybe as you say, it was the energy.
With Tom Wilson, they win that series 4-1.
Really, 4-1.
Yeah, that's because like I said, depth it hurts, and then the enforcer it hurts. And his talent, true. He's a talented player. And he's the tough guy. So that hurts losing a guy like that.
That's true. And Hathaway, I have to tip my hat to Hathaway. Like even he played a heck of a game. He was that checking line, that entire checking line going from Dowd all the way down. Amazing.
Dowd is my guy.
Yep.
So usually once the Caps are out, there has not been a season before this one that I've watched any other games other than Caps. This season, though, I found myself checking in on the Rangers Pittsburgh series. I found myself checking in on the boring Calgary and Dallas series. I found myself checking in on the Maple Leafs and Lightning series, that's a great series going to Game 7, and I'm picking the Lightning there. And then of course I've been watching the Avalanche, and that one's over so quick that they've got a long break here. Are you going to check out any other games, even the Avalanche going forward?
So
you should follow the Avalanche.
I'm going. So I do have a vested interest in the Avalanche because as a kid growing up, I had two subsequent teams. I was a diehard Detroit Red Wings fan. Like if it wasn't the Caps, it was the Detroit Red Wings. And then I was a huge Colorado Avalanche fan. Back in the good old days of Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg. His son played for the Caps before he got traded, which was a bad trade.
You know what's funny?
He's on the Avalanche, isn't he?
No, I thought that was his son too, or at least a relative. They are not related. Philip Forsberg.
Are you serious?
I think I said that somewhere that they were like his son.
Wow.
When the trade happened, I said in public that I can't believe they traded Peter Forsberg's son or something.
Yeah.
And I thought they were related. I was like, why would you trade a Forsberg? But they are not related.
Wow.
I didn't know. But because he's so good, I thought they were related. Philip Forsberg is a good player. He's solid, and he's on Nashville. He's on Nashville.
He's on, okay. Yeah. So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You should follow the Avalanche, and I'll give you some names to listen out for. Their best player is Nate McKinnon. He's a great player. Their captain is Gabriel Landeskog. He's also great. He had a very good series in the first round. He came back from injury to come out there and light it up. Another name to listen out for is Nassim Kadri. He's a solid player. They're the best skater, I think, in the league. In the entire NHL, this dude, he's a magician on the skates. Like, I don't know. I've never seen anybody skate like him. Cale Makar. He's like 23 years old. It might be his first or second year. Just a magician on the skates, highly entertaining to watch. Watch out for him. I said Kadri, McKinnon, Landeskog. Darcy Kemper is their goalie. Solid. He was hurt. He got hit now with a stick in the first round. I missed the last two games, but they still won. So watch out for those guys and those names. Big names to watch out for. They're fast. They play tough. They're an entertaining team to watch. They're the Caps West. Like that Caps Stanley Cup team that was tough and fast. That's how they play, man. They're fun to watch.
And the only reason why I don't want Florida to go through, because Andrew Brunette was drafted by the Capitals back in '93, and I'm like, I can't have that. I'm sorry. Until they prove themselves, I can't have like another like thing coming through. But I have a soft spot for the Rangers. Like, even though I hate them, like I really do. But against Pittsburgh, I have a soft spot for them, so I want them to win it. And I'll probably root for the Avalanche to win the entire thing. I mean, they've always been solid. They've not like they know how to think.
The only reason I want Florida to go to the Stanley Cup is so the Avalanche can sweep them. I like to see that just for revenge. But I can't see them getting past the next round. They're not good. They're not a good team.
Now I'll probably catch it here and there, but I probably won't be very vested anymore. I mean, if the Avalanche are playing, they probably will watch it, but I'll probably watch more of the basketball than I would.
And those games will be later too. So
yeah, so I mean, it's a ping pong. It depends on how I feel that day. To tell the truth, to be honest.
Yep.
but if it gets close to like Eastern Conference final, I'll definitely watch. Like the Eastern or Western Conference, I'll definitely watch those matches.
Yeah. All righty, that's all we've got for the sports talk this week. You got anything else you want to touch on?
Nah, man, that was it. I'm just recuperating from the loss.
Gotcha. Same here. Yep. That stunk. But
yeah,
next year. Only one team can win it every year. So
yep.
All right, we can go and wrap up the show for this week. Thank y'all for sticking with us. We're the Talking Hats. Please like, subscribe, support. Follow us. We'll follow you. Hit us up in the DMs. We'll send us a link if you want us to follow your YouTube, whatever you got going on. Like I said, if you follow us or follow back. Just spread the word for us. We're trying to grow here. We put on highly entertaining content every week for you, and we'll keep that consistent. We won't miss any more weeks. We just had a lot going on with Mother's Day and everything else going on, so we took a break there. But we'll be here. We'll be here for you. Be here for us. We're gonna wrap things up for this week. Talking Hats. We are out.
Peace.